How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Bitcoin is moving up to 64,000. We have kind of an important week for crypto, as we do have President Trump meeting with a lot of crypto leaders to talk about the Clarity Act. We also have just general weakness today in the stock market because the 30-year Treasury note, the yield just went up to a 19-year high. We'll go through that. MSTR just increase their cash position, increase their dividend stack, right? The money that they have for dividends. So let's look at that as well. Did they sell any Bitcoin? They have been selling Bitcoin the last couple weeks. We'll be going through that. If you don't mind, hit subscribe so you can see future videos just like this one. Also, if you want to trade crypto, there's a link underneath the video to BidFi. It's in the link tree. So you can get up to $10,000 just for trading on the platform. This is the great thing about BidFi. I think this is the best platform to sign up for long term because every single month we run this campaign where you can get up to $10,000 back just for trading on the platform. So the more you trade, the more you get back. But if you trade $1 million worth of volume, which is not you don't have to have $1 million for that. You trade $1 million of volume, you get $130 back, all the way up to $10,000, and you get Bitcoin. So check this out in the link tree. There's also a link to Ubit as well. Ubit has over 1,000 different assets that you can trade. So check that out underneath the video as well. Now, as we can see, the markets are a bit mixed. The Dow's down a little bit. The S&P 500's down a little bit. The Nasdaq just slightly green on some of the semiconductor and memory plays, like Nvidia's up about 1%. We have Micron up 5%. But the VIX is up about 5.5%. This could be because of what Trump said, which is that he basically would bomb Oman if it gets in the way of ending the Iran war. Maybe people are a little bit concerned that there is, more controversy in the future or more conflict or something like that. Now, some people would say, well, no, this decreases the chances of conflict. It's honestly, you could take it different ways, but we do know that the Treasury yield is moving up today. We have the 30-year Treasury yield hitting a 19-year high. If you go back, there have been very few times where it passed 5%. You can see back in 2010, we passed 5%. Back in 2023, we passed 5%. Back in 2025, we kind of touched it in the beginning of 2025 and then broke through a little bit. And then, yeah, you can see just higher lows recently. Ever since about 2020, really 2020, we've just seen higher lows and higher highs. But yeah, we are at basically 5.25%. So if you wanted to have no volatility, let me just make sure this is still recording. Yeah, if you want to have no volatility and just get a 5.25% yield for 30 years, you could do that. I think it's technically 5.21 maybe, but yeah, the fact is you can get that yield now, and that is going to make people reprice stocks, right? If they don't want to take the volatility. Now, that being said, stocks have done incredibly well. So yeah, even if you get 5.25%, you'd be underperforming what the broader market has done. Now, moving over to strategy, we'll talk about crypto specific news for a minute. They added 150 million to their USD reserve and repurchased 132 million of STRC, extending the USD duration to 2.8 years. So they added 41 days and tightening the STRC Bitcoin credit to 114 basis points. So they still hold 840,447 Bitcoin. So breaking down how they got this cash this week, they didn't sell any Bitcoin. They sold MSTR common stock about $333 million worth. They add this up. Well, they got about 282 million. Maybe they paid out some dividends or something like that as well. But yeah, they did increase their cash pile. And now they have a little bit less that they have to pay in annual dividends. This MSTR common stock is just the gift that keeps on giving, because they can issue another $22 billion worth of MSTR common stock to go buy back STRC until it gets to peg. Right now they have, I want to say, somewhere around $13 billion worth of STRC stock. I might be wrong on that. I could be plus or minus like 2 or 3 billion, honestly, but that's generally how much there is. So they bought back maybe 1% of the supply. Now, President Trump is expected to host Coinbase, Ripple, Gemini, Robinhood, Polymarket, and Kalshi at the White House this Wednesday, talking about the Crypto Clarity Act. It's interesting that Polymarket and Kalshi are on there. I know that these have grown a lot recently, but like 3 years ago, I don't even know if these were companies. And they're just right in the mix with Coinbase and Ripple and Gemini. Robinhood in there too. Maybe I forgot to mention that, but yeah, they're going to be talking about the Crypto Clarity Act, getting some of their opinions, and hopefully that gets passed towards the end of the year, or sooner as well. But I'm not holding out hope until we kind of hit the eventual bottom in crypto, which I think is probably going to happen here in the next 2 to 3 months. Speaking of Gemini, they're being hosted on Wednesday, but they just gave their quarterly financials. Apparently, they had a fourth straight quarterly loss of 107.7 million. So how I read that, they lost 107.7 million in the quarter. The revenue climbed 37% to 45.5 million. So imagine you have a company that does revenue of 45 million and loses 107 million. That's insane. So yeah, not profitable yet. And a lot of these companies aren't profitable in the bear market. And we are definitely in a bear market for crypto, with Bitcoin down about 50%. Nvidia announces earnings here very soon. So this week is kind of a quiet week for the markets. But next week we have Nvidia earnings. They're expected to record revenue of almost $82 billion, which is up 85% year over year. And data center revenue is supposed to go up 92% year over year. I would not be surprised if they beat this. So if they posted 100% revenue growth, that's just insane, but I think it's possible. They also, the guide moving forward, they're expecting to be right around $91 billion, which is just crazy. Like the next quarter, they're expecting them to earn another $10 billion more than they earned this quarter. But yeah, they're still growing very quickly, and they are one of the largest holdings, one of the largest percentages in the S&P 500, in the NASDAQ. So obviously that will play a big role for the broader market as well. In the AI trade, what people are thinking there. So be on the lookout for that next week. This week, again, kind of a quiet week. Bitcoin's been really quiet recently, from 60 to 67,000. We've been here for, I think, a couple months at this point. So we're just waiting, biding our time until we get to the eventual crypto bottom. Again, typically we bottom in October, November. Usually it's almost exactly 1 year after we've topped, which was early October. So maybe we don't have to wait as long. Maybe it's just a month and a half. Let me know, though, what you think about that down below in the comment section. Do you think we've already bottomed? Let me know. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Again, you can check out BitFi or Ubit down below in the description, in the link tree. Just a reminder, this is not financial advice. This is not legal advice. Do your own research. I'm never going to reach out to you either in the comment section or through any other means to try to get you to invest in something that I'm investing in, or to send me crypto. Some links underneath the video are affiliate links. I may earn a commission, but this is at no extra cost to you. Of course, do your own due diligence.